Warning, warning. Time-space distortion detected. They are coming the fuck through.
Hello, welcome back. Imagine that you're in a submarine, heading down to the bottom of what you know is, but it isn't in this case. You see what is in front of you, but actually it isn't. And once you know that what isn't in this case, it is, well, where are you then? Welcome to Discovering SCP.
I approach Tanhony. I approach you in the captain's quarters of the submarine with a salute. Sir, I found the ancient cavern that may contain that man.
Oh, hello, Darnell. Isn't it nice in this alternate universe where we're in the Navy?
Oh, this isn't where we destroyed the West Coast?
This is a different universe. Hold on, Darnell, a portal is opening. Oh no, we're being destroyed because our other universal selves are entering this realm. Ah, my skin!
I knew this day would come, and I'm happy to die by your side, Admiral Tanhony-sama, King of the Navy.
Ah! Wow, that was a close one, Darnell. We only just got out of the middle coast after annihilating it.
I am half of a corpse.
Oh, I need to pull the Darnell out of his portal. There's the sound of me grabbing his legs and pulling.
So is this us from the original universe now?
Yes, so we've just crossed over to this alternate universe, and the way the multiverse works in the podcast lore is you can only have one set of each person.
So when we walked in, I had a much simpler setup in mind. Connect the lore, but I have no clue what we're doing.
You threw me off when you came in as a submarine.
I was just gonna be like, I found the tunnel that contains that man.
Yeah, that man doesn't seem that much of a threat right now.
To think our other selves were so weak that they perished just because the original copies arrived.
Oh, I'm going to sit down at the desk, but I'm sitting in my liquid self.
Yeah, I sit on a throne made from the bones of my otherworld self. So, Tanhony, how many SCPs do we need to read to commandeer the submarine?
Hold on. It seems that there's one. No. It couldn't be.
Just one? That can't be so bad.
I'm papers are shaking my hand so cold I can't read the words, but I can see the letters and the numbers.
What's wrong?
SCP 300.
Masaka! To think we've already reached the precipice of the third series.
This can't be happening. We gotta go back to series 1. Let's read about Josie again.
Josie-sama!
Oh no.
The promise I made Josie the half-cat on that day.
Oh no. Josie is gone. There's only one SCP on the website.
Do you think people see Josie the half-cat like sleeping for the first time? They think it's like half a cat corpse, and they think like a JoJo villain's walked by?
Damn it, Vanilla Ice!
Vanilla Ice! I can't believe they killed Josie, those bastards! We'll get them, Tan. We'll get them back for everything.
Fucking Dr. K is like, I was meant to save you, Josie.
It should have been you, not me. Josie just smiles and spits out blood.
Oh, I can feel it in the sand.
This is the cold annihilation of life. Josie's black tentacles.
What the fuck are we even... There's not even a JoJo reference anymore, we're just describing the scene.
We've just created a JoJo roleplay based on an actual JoJo scene. That's all we did. We added nothing of value.
SCP-3000, we're going to read it.
Yeah, I need the link.
So, I'm not sure if this will be long enough for a whole episode. I think it probably will be, but I've got a second one in case it isn't. If it is too long, then we'll just read that next episode.
And just as a heads up, again, assuming nothing goes wrong, we are going to have the wonderful Anomalous writer and Lan Lang Lin edit this for us again.
Yes, they gracious help.
Amazing job last time, and we were so thrilled with the audio.
There was actual editing, which we were all very...
There was an image! There was an image in the podcast! I almost cried. How many times have I asked you to put an image in and it didn't happen?
I'm glad I hope our Spotify listeners appreciated that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point!
Do you think there's anyone who just found us on like Spotify and doesn't know we have
Spotify listeners are like, what the hell is this about image editing? So you've forsaken us then?
SCP-3000. It is called, let me get the name up here. It is called Anantashesha.
I can't pronounce that.
I just did. I pronounced it incorrectly, probably. And it is by the Dream Team, DJ Cactus, Joref, and A Random Day. So it's a free authors.
Right. Okay, and what was the theme for this contest?
It was horror.
Okay, could you say the authors one more time? Because I was trying to log in.
Okay.
It was Jorah.
I saw that coming, don't worry.
Jorah, A Random Day, and
Cactus,
who?
Joref, and A Random Day.
Oh, why didn't we invite Cactus on? He said he wanted to go on if we did another... Damn it.
There are so many Cactus episodes, we can't bring him on every time.
What do you mean so many? There's one! He's on one episode.
Darnell, we are recording, you can't message him to ask him to come on, it's too late.
I'm gonna message him!
It was too late.
Fine, but he's gonna be pissed when he finds out.
There's two more people in row. We're gonna get
this is where it like flashes away to Cactus on his throne, like crushing something in his hand. Those bastards! I'll send my 4 demon generals after them.
We're not gonna invite Jorah on A Random Day.
Yeah. Oh, Jorah and A Random Day are part of the demon generals, are they not?
Oh, okay. See. Well, anyway,
they're the 2 high generals. All right. Yes. What was the theme for this contest?
Horror.
I'm so scattered today. Okay. And this is not our first Thaumiel. This is our second Thaumiel or third one?
I think so. We're going to start getting more common from here on out.
Was 2000 a Thaumiel? Because the Broken God on the beach one a Thaumiel?
The Broken God one is not a Thaumiel, I don't think.
The one that was like them fighting on the beach?
It might have been actually.
Yeah, so this should be our third Thaumiel.
Yeah, they're getting more common.
And you need to have level 5 clearance to access this file. Did you manage to snatch the level 5 clearance credentials?
In this universe, we have these, because in this universe we work for the SCP Foundation.
I just realized we're 7 minutes in, we haven't started reading yet.
People need to know the lore!
Which is only my fault, I apologize. Ooh, look, there's a picture here. If this isn't copyrighted,
Do you want me to read it?
I trust in our heroes to put it in. Yeah, read it.
By order of the Overseer Council, the following file describes a Class 8 cognitohazardous entity. I just want to note, by the way, I Google searched what that one is beforehand, so I wouldn't sound like an idiot. And the description of it is the cardinal number that is the sum of 7 and 1. You mean 8? Why does it describe it like that? And is level 5, 3000 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden.
That's the most chuny way to say the number 8. The sum of those numbers, 7 and 1.
That's very strange. Unauthorized access is forbidden. I would assume so, yeah.
Uh-oh. Whoopsie!
Unauthorized access is permitted. Item number, SCP-3000. Object class, Tahormiel. No, I'm not doing that.
That's my favorite, fake object class you say. I usually hate when you mess up the names, but that's good. I like Tahormiel better than Thaumiel.
This is a fucked up universe. Site responsible, Ahaetulla Site 151. Director, Kerry Eckelkamp. Research head, David Bell.
Is he related to Drake Bell?
Yes, he's the same man. Assigned task force, SCPF Ahaetulla. We're in a different universe, you see, so his name's different. So we got an image here. Put this image in, please.
It looks like some sort of... It looks like some sort of dark... It looks like, you know those people who have, the Razer computer gear? Looks like the snake on the Razer mouse.
It's him, Dragon Hadrian.
So he's been summoned to this world. And this says SCP-3000... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. There's only 6 more words in it. You can do it.
SCP-3000 and Foundation Diver during @Zack Protocol.
Nice one. Special containment procedure. The area containing SCP-3000. So yeah, definitely. At this point, I don't think there's going to be a second article today. Sorry, guys. Currently, a region of the Bay of Bengal, roughly 300 kilometers in diameter, is to be routinely patrolled by Foundation naval vessels. Under no circumstances are civilians allowed to attempt deep-sea exploration or diving efforts in the quarantined area.
Oh, that's why we're in a submarine. Are we searching for it?
Oh, yeah, I set that up for you. Individuals believed to have contacted SCP-3000 to be contained, quarantined, and processed at Site-151. Individuals affected by the anomalous properties of the SCP are to be held in containment indefinitely. This Foundation submarine SPF Ahaetulla, hey, that's ours, It's a monitored location of the foremost section of SCP-3000,
Wait.
currently located within the Ganges fan, roughly
Where the hell-
0.7 kilometers beneath the bay.
Where the hell are you taking me? The Ganges fan! That place!
The Aerometer is tasked with carrying out the ANZAC protocol. And staffing regulation on board the vessel is subject to the guidelines of that protocol.
What the hell is the ADSAC protocol?
Well, there was some. My alternate universe self had some notes on it, but they got soaked in him.
Soaked in his flesh juice.
For a full description of the ATZAC protocol, see Addendum 3000.2. There is currently no known cure for exposure to the SCP. As such, affected individuals should be contained in quarantine for further evaluation. Individuals stationed aboard the SPF Aerometer are not permitted to leave the vessel except for the purposes of carrying out the necessary procedures of the ATZAC protocol.
The way they talk about it almost makes me feel like it's going to be the next Montauk protocol or whatever.
Oh. Individuals who leave the vessel without proper authorization are to be considered lost.
Oh, that reminds me of the boat one we read about with the guys who are like from a different world or whatever.
Yeah. Under no circumstances should any individual interact with the SCP without authorization. So what do you think?
Yeah, we really shouldn't be in this boat is what I think. Can we go back through the portal?
It's on autopilot, unfortunately.
What about the portal? Is it still open?
It takes about an hour to charge this device I found.
What the hell is this World of Warcraft cooldown?
Sorry, it needs to gather enough fumes.
Alright, well, I guess we might as well see what we're getting into. You should read the description.
I probably made some people angry who actually know how fumes work in the comments here. Because I'm pretty sure it's not something you can gather.
I'll tell you a secret. Humes aren't real. So
yeah, but in the setting, they work by a consistent set of principles. So that people will
Which is ironic because Hume's whole thing was like he saw the world as like not specific scientific stuff, but like emotions and impressions.
Yeah, he wouldn't approve because he was racist.
I actually don't know if that's true or not, but he's an old guy, so he probably was. I don't know.
It's a fair bet.
It's a fair bet.
Who's gonna get mad? Humes? I doubt it.
He's dead.
Description: SCP-3000 is apologies to the estates of Mr. Humes. Massive. I'm pretty sure his name
Mr. Humes' like descendant is like crying right now, holding his katana.
I'm pretty sure his name wasn't Humes either. I'm just like
no, his name was like David Hume.
I'm calling him Mr. Humes.
He was like a
old
character. He had like the powdered wig and everything.
Wow.
He's very British. Yeah, let me get you a picture. Oh, no, he was a Scottish philosopher. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say he was British.
Oh, you're dead.
I'm posting this. I'm posting this so you can see what David Hume looks like. This is what he looks like.
Long Lang Lin or an illustrator, whoever's editing the bit, please show the people what Mr. Hume looks like.
That's what he looked like.
He has a very straight... I don't like the energy his gaze is giving me.
It's like he's seeing us in the modern time, like, did you call me racist?
So I believe at the start of this interaction I asked you what you thought the SCP was. We never actually
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly some kind of snake, and I don't... Whatever happens to you, you're considered lost if you leave the vessel.
Lost in some kind of network.
Maybe it's like, maybe... I'm gonna guess... you said it was horror, and it looks like some kind of weird moray eel, so maybe it's like a world-eating serpent. Or something that, like, consumes everything, and that's why we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean. Something like that.
Let's find out.
Alright.
SCP-3000 is a massive aquatic serpentine entity, strongly resembling a giant moray eel.
Pog!
Gymnophax javanicus, the newest April Space character.
Please name a character that.
No, maybe.
My scurrent moray eel arm allows me to bite you.
The Jin Tyrants gave me a very long arm.
We will never finish this SCP.
The full length of SCP-3000 is impossible to determine, but is hypothesized to be between 600 and 900 kilometers.
Oh, that's
big. That's big boy. The head of the SCP measures roughly 2.5 meters in diameter, and sections of the body proper are as large as 10 meters in diameter. Same for me, bro.
Wow, so it's super long but really skinny.
Yeah, same here.
That kind of reminds me of those, like, tapeworms, like, that, like, swirl around themselves a billion times.
Yeah. The SCP is typically a sedentary creature, only moving its head in response to certain stimuli or during feeding. The majority of its body is located in and around the Ganges fan, which are specifically within several canyons throughout the region. I was used to it when it tells me what the thing is, so I'm confused now. Yeah. And rarely moves at all. The SCP is carnivorous, and despite its sedentary nature, is capable of moving quickly to dispatch prey. Despite its size, it is hypothesized that the SCP does not require sustenance to maintain its biological functions.
So it's like a Titan, it just eats people
for
fun.
I was going to say. The nape of the neck. It's like a fucking diver, and he like takes his diving suit, like, so you know we reside in the nape.
Every SCP is just a human piloting in the SCP's neck.
I'm SCP-173 and he's SCP-682.
I can't breathe. This is so stupid.
Due to this, SCP-3000's internal biology is believed to be similarly anomalous. Apologies to everyone involved in the creation that we are doing this.
I'm so sorry, Jorah. A random day. TJ Cactus.
While the SCP excretes a thin layer of a vicious dark grey substance classified as Y909, see Addendum 3000.2 below, through its skin as it consumes prey, the end result of its digestive processes is currently unknown. SCP-3000 is a Class 8 cognitive hazardous entity. Direct observation of the SCP may cause severe mental alterations in viewers. Individuals who directly observe the SCP, as well as any individuals within an uncertain distance of it, experience inexplicable head pain, paranoia, general fear and panic, and memory loss or alteration. The following is a log from Site-151's historical records, I once said, written by Dr. Eugene Getz, about initial discovery of the SCP and the effects felt therein. I'll do this first one for you, but the next time there's a log, you have to read it.
I can do this if you want, Tan.
Yeah, sure, go on.
I'll go all out just this once, but the next time there's a log, you'll have to read it.
Okay, so the same.
Alright, so this is Dr. Eugene Getz, so I'm going to pick like a normal voice, because this is long and he might come up again.
Yeah.
The unease was felt throughout the entire crew as we descended on that first night. Whether this was due to our uncertainty at what we would discover, or something more sinister, I would not speculate. As we continued to descend, Williams began sweating profusely. When asked about it, he could not respond, stating that he thought he was missing something he could not deduce. As our descent continued, he began to act more and more erratically, at one point addressing myself as Darlene and expressing uncertainty as to the tasks he was assigned to handle. Similar feelings were expressed by other members of the crew, but Williams felt it the most. His mimetic resistance was by far the lowest of all of us, but he was a biologist, not a mimeticist. When we finally came into contact with the entity, he began whimpering and had to be sedated. I remember him muttering the word, "No," over and over again, as if in disbelief. He went silent after a while, as we approached its head, and when I looked back at him, something had gone from his eyes. He did not even so much as blink as we made our final descent. At around 0940 hours, we first observed the head of the entity. The unease was palpable now. Several other crew members complained of feeling hazy and of being uncertain what they were supposed to be doing. Captain Ritter, ever the man's man, wrote it all off as nitrogen intoxication and forced them to continue approaching the entity. When we were within 50 meters, You know what's weird to me? A lot of these SCP articles have a character that's like, disregarded, it's explainable, and then continue on, which seems weird for an organization that specifically tracks down things with weird powers, who are exceptions to the norm.
No, you just got some gas in your brain. you go sail lower than I seal.
I guess that makes sense why those characters always die in these stories. The SCP people who probably live the longest are the most paranoid ones, or the ones with the highest power
They would not
level.
get themselves into this situation.
When we were within 50 meters, the entity turned slowly to look at us. Even now, as I recall watching this thing coil around in the darkness, I can still hear Williams barking like a mad dog in the rear of the vessel, screaming and flailing, shouting about how he could see it in his head. Perkins and Harrison tried to restrain him, but he got free and smashed his face in against one of the portholes. He hit it so hard he cracked the inner layer of glass. The damage was bad enough that we had to surface. We tried to give Williams medical attention, but he was too far gone at that point. He had pulped himself against the glass, and despite the trauma, he still spoke briefly as he lay dying. Nobody recorded it, we didn't think to at the time, but I remember it well enough. He said, "There's nothing. Nothing. Nothing." By the time we had reached the surface, several hours later, Williams was dead. At the time, I didn't think much about what he had said. Just the ravings of a man gone mad by the depths, I figured. I didn't know any better. But even now, I can still see the eyes of the creature. I see it hanging there in the darkness, illuminated by a light I cannot source, and I feel the lingering dread that Williams must have felt that night in the submersible, as he was overcome by whatever void that foul thing slithered out of.
Wowee. It's fucked up.
That?
Yeah.
Discovery!
Discovering
Hey, that's what we do!
SCP-3000
We did it! This is us! We discovered it!
was discovered in 1971, shortly after two Bangladeshi fishing boats and 15 fishermen were reported missing after drifting near the Indian coast. Damn, that's fucked up. As the country of Bangladesh had only been recently established at the time and had been subject to significant political persecution on the part of Pakistan, this incident received high-profile media attention due to fears that it was a result of foreign aggression. Local coastal dispatch units could not locate the missing boats, fueling further media hysteria.
There is another picture here, but I don't think it's super relevant to put in one.
Yeah, it's just a submarine.
Yeah, it's just a boat.
No, it's our submarine. It says underneath.
Oh yeah, never mind. Put it in. This is our submarine. This should be the thumbnail, actually.
Well, that's weird. It says it's diving towards the contact site. Or not?
What the hell?
Oh well, let's keep going. Foundation researchers stationed in Calcutta, now Kolkata, I didn't know that, drew similarities between this disappearance and another incident 2 years earlier. A thorough search aided by Marriott Pashla counters. I thought there was a person's name for a second. Someone called Marriott Pashla counters.
Is it a person? I don't know.
No, the counters named after Marriott Pashla. Revealed the location of the two boats, as well as an unknown, previously undiscovered mass deep below the surface of the Bay of Bengal. Further investigation by Foundation divers discovered the existence of SCP-3000.
Look,
I thought this one was super good at searching, just named Marriott Pashla counters.
Look, if there's one thing that Foundation's taught me, it's never go in a bay of anywhere, because that's where all the bad things are.
Yeah. The area was quickly secured, and current containment procedures were put in place in April of 1972. The ATSAC protocol was adapted in October of 1998. Addendum 3001. Initial contact exploration log. Note: the following is a transcript of audio logs taken during initial deep-sea diver contact with the SCP. Until this point, no Foundation diver had come within 300 meters of SCP-3000. Divers were tasked with assessing the creature and determining the source of the thick grey fluid that had been observed floating around its head. Dive team was composed of 3 members of FTF Orion 9 Kingfishers, led by MTF-09 Alpha. Launch point was through the airlock of the Foundation submarine SPF Travinsky. All divers were equipped with high-pressure suits as well as front-facing headlamps. Additionally, a tether was connected to MTF-09 Alpha, which was then connected in a T-shape out to both Bravo and Foxtrot. Who is who?
Alright, so I see there's 4 people. I'm looking through the script. There's Alpha, Bravo, Foxtrot, and Command. So,
I'll be Command and Foxtrot.
Alright, I'll be Alpha and Bravo then. Simple.
Good luck.
Alright, Command. We're situated in the airlock and ready to roll.
Confirmed. Go ahead and sound off.
Orion 9 Alpha, check. Orion 9 Bravo, check.
Alright, men. We're in position about 500 meters from the head of this creature. Make sure your tethers are on good and tight. We don't want any of you getting separated out there.
What's visibility like down here today, Command?
Stand by. About 3 meters. So it's dark as fuck. Got it.
Fucking Foxtrot! Why are we so far out?
The size of this thing is hard to comprehend. It's wrapped up in itself in several places. We can't get close because there's too much body there. The entity hasn't moved in about 3 weeks. It's all! Affirmative. Moved slightly with the currents down there, but nothing more than that. If it weren't for the head movement that was observed by the first submersible team, probably wouldn't know if it was alive or not. That's reassuring.
Alright, tethers are tight. Flood the chamber.
Confirmed. Rushing water is heard as the airlock chamber floods. No other sound is heard for several minutes. After some time, the sound of rushing water stops.
You both good? I'm good.
It's fucking cold.
Why is Foxtrot just an angry British guy? Hopefully we won't be out for long then. Turn on your lights, boys. Here we go.
All members of the dive team exit the airlock. There is a low mechanical sound as the airlock door closes behind them. A muffled click sound is heard, and the Stravinsky activates its aft floodlights. Hey, Alpha, maybe this is a bad time to ask, but I can't remember how to turn on my lamp, and...
Your lamp is on, Foxtrot.
What? What did you call me?
Who's that guy that does the... But steel is heavier than feathers. He's doing that voice now. Your designation, Mulaney. Foxtrot. I'm Foxtrot, boss. Hang on, what are you talking about?
I don't understand what you mean by designation.
It's your gosh darn call sign, Bravo. What do you mean? Who's Bravo? Shit. Hang on, I was going to say something. Barry, are you still... Barry, 09 Alpha is believed to have been addressing a former member of the command team assigned to SCP-3000, Barry Hughes, who had passed away 2 years prior. Barry, are you still there?
Stand by. Go for a command?
Hey, we're having a little trouble out here. I'm not sure who... We seem to have some confusion over designations, and I'm not sure where we're going.
Where exactly are we?
God, do you guys feel that? I've just got an awful headache. It's like needling in my brain something.
Dive team, be advised that we believe you may be experiencing some detrimental cognitive effects. Keep moving forward, and we'll give you more information as we receive it.
Noted. Command, be advised that Foxtrot has a terrible headache. I think... Are we going in the right direction? We can't see out here.
You are roughly 150 meters from the head of the entity, Alpha. You should be getting a visual soon.
Command, I don't see anything. Where are we? Where are we?
We're almost there, Alpha. Dive team, be advised. We're picking up movement from the entity on radar.
Barry, I don't see anything down here. What are we supposed to be looking...
Oh, all I can see is darkness. There's a chill, foul wind blowing, pushing me towards a brink I can't see.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Command, Bravo's unresponsive. Requesting immediate cessation of mission. Wait a second.
On the edge of the nothingness, inches from oblivion, there's a sickness in my mind that I know can't be cured.
Everyone after listening to My Chemical Romance for the first time.
Beyond me is only blackness and a single pair of dark eyes.
What? What are you saying?
Dive team, we're going to pull you back in immediately. We have reason to believe that...
Barry, is that you? How can it be? I shoveled the dirt during your... I can hear something over there. Alpha, you're light. Get your fucking...
Silence, only silence. My consciousness coming undone. And only. Dive team, something is moving towards you. Repeat, something is moving towards you. Prepare to return to...
This is shit! I can't see! How far are we from the... It's right there! It's right there! Fuck! What are you both doing? Fuck!
And only the eel remains. Radio silence for 20 seconds. Alpha? Radio silence for 13 seconds.
Who's the guy who does the videos you're mimicking the voice of?
That's just a local accent from where I am.
Oh, well, it sounds like that guy.
Alpha, Bravo, Foxtrot, did any of you hear us? Oh, thank God. Bravo, you need to speak up. We can't... Radio silence for 10 seconds. Something has bound up the winch between you and us. We can't...
It's opening its mouth. It's so dark. There's a...
Where am I? What?
Barry, how can it be? I shoveled dirt. Milady, swim! Get away! There's only darkness! Swim!
Only! There is suddenly tension in the tether attached to the Stravinsky. 09 Foxtrot's radio goes silent. There is a sound of a struggle through the other two radios.
What was this article called again?
It's called Anantashesha. Foxtrot, Alpha, Bravo, talk to me. Stay calm. What happens?
It ate him. Fuck, he's gone. It took him whole. Gosh darn it, Alpha, what are you doing? Alpha? Cut the fucking gosh darn tether, Alpha. It's pulling us in. Who? Fuck!
Total radio silence for 30 seconds. Tether attached to Stravinsky is pulled free from its moorings and disappears. Alpha Bravo, do you copy? Radio silence for 5 seconds. Alpha Bravo, do you copy?
This is Bravo. I'm floating in the dark. I can see shapes moving through the fog, but they're hard to make out. I cut my tether. Alpha wouldn't... I think he's gone. I don't see his light anymore.
Acknowledge, we're coming to...
Hang on! Just let me think for a second! Cognition, this thing, it doesn't work around it. Your brain can't form thought. It hurts, it's like dying, and...
Bravo, do you have eyes on the entity?
It's in my head, guys. Coiled up in there like a snake. And something about it is caustic. I can see it just in front of me. It's not doing anything. It isn't moving. Just hanging there with its mouth open. I think it's finished eating. That fluid is seeping through the skin around its head, about a meter back. Just looking at the stuff is making me like the room is spinning. I feel nauseous. My head isn't working right. There's an abortion under the floorboards, and another in the Wait, this is wrong. That wasn't me. Who said that? I'm going to collect a sample. Hang on.
Bravo, we're going to send out a crew to get you. Just hold on.
Oh, no, don't do that. You have to be trained to not feel the things I'm feeling. Otherwise, it will get into you. Maybe it will anyway. Who knows? It feels like the end of the world down here, fellas. My heart is really going off the charts, and I think I'm dying. I got a sample. I'll attach it to one of those little balloons and let it float up. You'll be able to get it later. Don't spend too much time around that stuff. It doesn't... Your mind...
Bravo?
I think I'm dying. I'm dying. Oh, I know I'm dying. This is it. I just want to get away from here. It occurs to me. Don't send anyone else out here. It's so dark.
Bravo? Over the next half hour, the CPF Stravinsky attempted to approach 09 Bravo with no success. Command continued to attempt to communicate with Bravo, but Bravo grew increasingly unintelligible before eventually going completely silent. Bravo's radio stayed active over the next 3 days, and intermittent breathing could be heard until the radio ceased functioning. Jesus.
He drifted in that abyss until even his mind ceased thinking.
No.
It kind of feels like this creature is like the abyss, who just generally swallows up your sanity mind. This is Addendum 3000.2, which got pointed to a lot. Can you handle this one? Because my voice is shot.
ATZAC Protocol. Top secret SCP Foundation official documentation 151 Holster ATZAC Protocol. This protocol dictates certain interactions with a Class 8 cognitive hazardous entity, SCP-3000, and as such as Level 5/3000 classified. Preface. The following protocol was developed in conjunction with researchers from Site 29 and Site 50, as well as researchers stationed at Site 151. Some section may have been redacted to remove material above this classification. Adherence to this protocol is required for all personnel assigned to Site 151, as well as all personnel assigned to the SBF Eremita. Abstract.
I gotta be honest, Tan. I'm not feeling too good. It's like I can't think straight right now.
I'm feeling fantastic. By the way, can you copy my username, Tanamana441? I don't know who Tanhony is.
Are you sure? Tanamana? No, you're Tanhony, right?
No, on YouTube they call me Discovering SCP.
I can't think straight. Just keep going. I'll
Don't
be fine.
worry.
Must be the nitrogen oxide. Must be the nitrogen oxide. That's all it is.
Yes, let me just put down this tank of nitrogen that I've just been playing with.
That's what was happening.
Abstract. The 151 Hollister ATZAC protocol has been developed and implemented to create a strategy for the management of the Y909 chemical compound excreted by SCP-3000.
Management? What the hell is this, Lobotomy Corporation?
Protocol information. The Y909 compound, originally discovered by the late Dr. Adam Hollister, is a critical component in several modern and experimental amnestic compounds. Specifically, the following amnestics now contain a refined version of the Y909 compound. Class A, 2016 variants, Class D, 2016 variants, Class E, 26 variants, Class X, 2017 variants, Class XX, 2017 variants, Redacted, ATZAC class experimental compound, Foster class experimental compound, Ellipse class experimental compound. There's a lot of amnestics.
Mm-hmm.
The inclusion of the Y909 compound has shown a marked increase in the stability and long-term effectiveness of the aforementioned amnestics. Overall, amnestics utilizing 909 break down 78% slower than the standard counterparts in cold storage, and 52% slower than the standard counterparts at room temperature. Additionally, individuals administered an amnestic regimen utilizing Y909 show a marked increase in suggestibility, memory clearance, and a significant decrease in additional side effects such as nausea, vomiting, bowel distress, blurred vision, headaches, insomnia, heart damage, and others. Individuals treated with these amnestics express significantly fewer intrusive memories as those without Y909, with some individuals exposed to experimental compounds expressing no intrusive memories whatsoever, even at the 5 and 10 year marks. I like the amnestic law here.
Yeah, it's actually genuinely cool, and I do like the whole 2016 variant, because it implies why maybe earlier SCP amnestics might not have been as effective as they are now. Because, like, that was when it was, like, an older thing, and it wasn't as good. It's really cool.
So, due to the effectiveness of these treatments with the addition of Y909, the continued inclusion of this compound is essential to modern Foundation amnestic application. Reliance on the continued use of Y909 necessitates its collection for the foreseeable future, as a synthetic version of the compound has not yet been discovered. As such, this protocol dictates the way this compound is collected off of SCP-3000, and the way personnel to interact with it.
I wish I had said my thought earlier, because I was going to say I bet this thing's, like, harvested from this monster, but I didn't say it. And now I feel, oh man.
Below is a brief...
Like such a genius.
Below is a brief framework of the procedure, and detailed information can be found in a full ATSAC brief. Members of FTF Epsilon 20, night fishermen, to prepare a subject for deliverance to the feeding site.
So maybe I'm only thinking of this more after playing Lobotomy Corp, but I do like this because you mentioned when we first started this that the reason the Foundation keeps SCP around is to research them and study them. But a lot of the times it seemed like basically just D-Class getting fed to murderous entities for no reason. But it makes sense, even though this thing messes with minds and is dangerous, it's a valuable resource to a compound vital to their operations. And it makes sense that they're harvesting and researching the compound and making progress with it. They believe that the risk of dealing with it, or the reward of dealing with it outweighs the risk, which is kind of cool.
One individual D-Class subject is to be administered a sedative and equipped with a high-pressure diving suit. Subject is then to be tethered to an underwater ROV within the aft airlock. The airlock is to be flooded, and the subject to be towed by the ROV towards the feeding site. Upon reaching the feeding site, the ROV is to disconnect its tether and return to the aerometer. RIP, bro. Okay. Throughout this stage, the SCP-F aerometer should monitor SCP-3000's position and adjust course if the entity begins to move away from the feeding site. Mission Command will provide additional instructions during this phase if necessary. Personnel on board the SCP-F aerometer to monitor the SCP during feeding sessions. During this time, no personnel are permitted to leave the aerometer without authorization from Mission Command. At a point after the total consumption of prey, SCP-3000 will begin to excrete Y909 near the foremost section of its body. Specialized teams of deep-sea divers are to exit the SCP-F aerometer through the aft airlock and approach the SCP. Collection of Y909 must take place during the SCP's digestive period, which is currently believed to be roughly 2.5 hours after consumption of prey. Teams must return to launch craft before the end of this period. During this period, the typical effects of the SCP are less severe, though Command should continue to monitor these teams for damage to the cognition. After collection of Y909 is complete, personnel to transfer the collected substance to security containers before returning to the surface. The mission administrator aboard the aerometer is to monitor the substance through transport.
Alright, Tan, I put on this diving suit like you asked and gathered all these vials, but what did you need me to do again?
Don't worry about it.
Alright, I glanced at the picture and I see a name that I'm probably going to pronounce wrong, so just forgiveness in advance.
Addendum 3000.3, Psychological Evaluation. I'm the one who has to say it first, though, so it's actually on me.
Oh, that's true.
Note, on blank 09, Level 3 researcher, Venkatraman Krishnamurthy, attempted to exit the aerometer's aft airlock without diving equipment. Rookie mistake, but was quickly drained and the airlock cycle aborted. Despite having a CRV of 26 and having not displayed any previous signs of depression or suicidal attempt prior to his assignment aboard the aerometer, Krishnamurthy was interviewed by staff clinical psychologist Dr. Anand Manava to acquire a better understanding of the SCP's potential effects on his psyche. Which one do you want to be?
I want to be Krishnamurthy.
Okay. Hi, Venkat. How are you feeling?
Unwell.
That's why I'm here. You want to talk about what happened today? He is silent. We don't have to if you don't want to. We can talk about something else.
I'm tired, Anand.
I understand this assignment's been stressful and all of...
It's not... No, it isn't the stress. I've done this before. I've been on... I don't actually know if I've done this before.
You have?
I don't remember it. Any of it. I've been getting these out-of-context feelings, like my body reacting to reflexes it didn't know it had. Everything is so disconnected, and trying to keep it together is... I'm just tired.
When did you start feeling this way?
How long have we been down here? I don't remember. I don't know when, I honestly don't. I wish I could tell you more than that, but I have nothing. I look to that place in my mind, and there's something else there. Or sometimes, nothing at all.
What do you mean, something else?
I've been having other people's dreams, Anand. I see faces I don't recognize, places I know I've never been, or maybe I have. I don't know. How can I know what is real or not when I can't trust my own mind?
Well, maybe I can help you with that, Venkat. We can go over things you think you've forgotten, and I can...
Don't patronize me! I know you felt it, Anand. Your mind gets hazy. Parts of you start to slip, your memories grow faint, fading in and out until they're gone, or worse, replaced. You see pasts that aren't yours, experiences that you never lived. You start to become other people or nobody at all.
Venkat, please, I'm just trying to help.
Do you even know my work before we met? Come to think of it, I don't even remember how we met. I know your name, know that you're a psychologist, but are we friends? Are we brothers? I don't know how I know you. We work together, I know that. I still have that. But other things, they come and go. I don't know if I'm married or have children. Dr. Krishnamurthy was married twice and has 2 sons and 3 daughters between the 2 marriages.
I see.
And that isn't the worst of it. I know this is happening to me. I know that my mind is coming apart. But there's something else in there too. Something rising out of the smoke of my smoldering consciousness. That eel.
The eel?
I don't remember my mother. I can hear her voice, but I can't remember her face. I can't remember how she smelled, or how she... But what I do remember is she told me about gods. There's a god called Anantashisha, a serpent, the king of serpents, said to lie beneath Vishnu in the cosmos, a 6-headed snake god. Isn't that something?
Yes, I am familiar.
Of course. I'm sorry. I forgot. I don't remember much, but I do remember that she told me about how Anantashisha would linger past the end, gaze upon the darkness past the end of time. She said that when the light of the universe had gone out, all that would be left is Anantashisha. I have worked my entire life for the Foundation so much as I can recall. I have struggled to build my name and my reputation, and done everything I can to leave something, anything, some kind of mark that says I was here, but...
What is it?
I believe that SCP-3000 is Anantashisha. I believe that this aberration, this treachery against cognition, is the result of us being in the presence of a god. Not just a god, but a god who exists across all time, all at once, and even beyond. Maybe some part of the nothingness beyond the edge of time is part of Anantashisha as well. Maybe it acts as a conduit, some kind of...
Okay, please recite this.
No, let me finish! In defiance of the nothingness that comes after this, all of this, there is Anantashisha. There's a chance that my memories might live on, that I might be remembered like the memories I've seen have been through me. I don't have proof of this. But when I looked into its eyes and saw what it showed me, I was afraid. I'm merely a mediocre man, Anand. This was a fear that I have refused to acknowledge for years. A fear of irrelevance, that no one will know who I am when I die. Afraid of being forgotten. Afraid of my life being meaningless. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of dying. There is a terror within me that I cannot reconcile, Anand. I won't lie to you and tell you that the maw of the Naga does not terrify me as well, but between this and the infinite dark I have gazed into, I have made up my mind.
And log. Nice one, you original for Oscar. Oh, by the way, is your pressure suit on properly?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot what I was doing. Sorry, my brain totally spanked out.
You did.
Why do I keep, it's weird, Chan. I keep thinking of this, like, of you and I. We used to be in the ruins of the West Coast or something, but, like...
Darnell, look at the map. The West Coast is right there. It's not in ruins. It's good.
Sorry, I don't know what these memories are. Alright, I'm going in, Admiral Tanhony. Why don't you read this log while I go explore beneath the waves?
Sure, I will. Incident video and audio log. After 2 days of containment within a secure holding cell aboard the Ahaetulla, orders were received to lift the hold order on Dr. Krishnamurthy. We're probably butchering this name, I'm so sorry. In accordance to the terms of the ATSAC protocol, 3 hours after Dr. Krishnamurthy was released from his holding cell, the following incident took place. Oh god, I have to say it so many times, because if I'm saying this wrong, it's going to rub it in.
Just, you guys have to have a little bit of compassion and forgiveness for us. We don't mean any offense, we're trying our best to do the names. I think... And if they don't acknowledge that, then they shall
to hell with
they
them.
Shall perish. Yeah.
Begin log. 02-1933. Krishnamurthy stands near the entrance to the Ahaetulla's aft airlock. Subject is facing away from nearest camera. 02-1958. Proximity alarm is triggered. Exterior floodlights activate. SCP-3000 is still not visible. Command is alerted and Ahaetulla's engines engage, preparing for invasive maneuvers. 02-20-06. Krishnamurthy is startled by proximity alarm and begins to appear panicked. Subject continues to look at entrance to aft airlock. Subject turns briefly towards nearest camera and is observed to be weeping. 02-20-21. He slowly approaches aft airlock and opens the airlock door. Subject enters airlock and primary access door seals behind the subject. 02-20-57. Interior airlock camera captures him staring at exterior airlock door for a full 2 minutes, unmoving. After 2 minutes, subject collapses on the ground. 02-21-15. All cameras udder as primary turbines spin up. SCP-3000 is visible on radar, approaching the SCP-F Ahaetulla. I don't look out the window, by the way. SCP-3000 is not visible on exterior cameras.
I'm already in the water, Tan. What am I looking for down here again?
Big eel.
Okay, what do I do when I find it?
That's it, don't worry. You won't have to do anything else.
Okay.
02-26-37. He stands and approaches diving suit locker. Subject puts on a high-pressure deep-sea diving suit and then moves towards exterior door controls. Subject engages exterior door latch. Interior airlock camera is obscured by rushing water. 02-27-14. Secondary alarm is triggered by airlock breach. Personnel on the bridge attempt to close airlock, but he has already exited. 02-27-48. He hangs in the water behind the aft section of the Ahaetulla, illuminated by exterior floodlights. Subject is motionless. 02-28-11. SCP-3000 slowly appears from out of the darkness. He remains motionless. 02-28-29. Exterior cameras shudder as Ahaetulla begins to reverse towards him. Rescue teams have assembled in the airlock chamber. 02-28-52. The SCP approaches him. Its mouth begins to open. Ahaetulla sounds horns, but neither SCP-3000 or subject appear to notice. 02-29-09. SCP-3000 moves to just above him. Subject appears to look up into the now fully expanded jaw of SCP-3000. Ahaetulla begins to flash external floodlights. Airlock opens. Darnell, that's you. Darnell.
Oh.
That's you.
Oh. I was wrong. God save me, it's not!
02-29-21. SCP-3000 strikes and quickly consumes him. 02-29-45. Sorry for the sound effect.
This is the worst sound effect for that atmosphere.
SCP-3000 disappears into the darkness and is no longer visible on exterior cameras. Rescue crews are recalled. Crew begins to initiate ATSAC protocol. Don't want to waste him.
Tanhony, I found something down here.
You did?
Yeah, it says... Hang on, let me brush the dirt off underwater. Addendum 3000.5, Personal Journal of Dr. Manava?
Oh, please read it over the radio to me.
Yes. It says here in the beginning, note, the following are excerpts from the personal diaries of Dr. Ananda Manava. Dr. Manava has kept several journals during his assignment and has reported that it is beneficial to counteract the psychological and memory-affecting properties of SCP-3000. Alright. Oh, okay. Let's see. 23rd of September, 2009. I'm reading this in my voice as Darnell. I come to bury Venkat, not to praise him. Psychologically speaking, having your memories affected like his is not a pleasant experience for anyone. I really shouldn't be surprised he chose to relieve himself from having his memories meddled with. After all, it's really alarming. Being briefed on its effects doesn't change the fact that I need to constantly keep tabs on all staff, myself included, and ground us to reality. I am supposed to submit a full psychological report now, detailing what has gone wrong, why a staff member turned suicidal, and a full analysis of possible ways to prevent this from happening again in the future, to the O5 and Site Director Knox. Have it reviewed, and some new regimen designed to prevent such travesty from happening again. He always was more religious than I am. Right at the end of his life, he was riffing on Anantashisha, a primordial Hindu snake god, and rambling about eternity. I'm not going to question the legitimacy of his beliefs and his claims, but this is quite the enigma, and I suppose I should consider myself lucky that this assignment is relatively benign compared to previous assignments that I've had. I don't think this is a mythical eel, anomalous maybe, but not really that extraordinary. It's funny. I spent the last 30 years blocking out everything my father wanted to teach me about Hinduism, and now I'm racking my brains trying to remember anything he had to say about it. I want to say that it's because of the eel, but if I'm being honest with myself, I simply tried to forget all his teachings. Maybe not at the beginning, but certainly by the end. I can barely even remember what he looked like, but I do remember how angry he got when I couldn't remember the names of my grandparents or great-uncles. He was desperate to preserve his heritage, and I did everything I could to spite him. On his deathbed, he begged me to perform the traditional last rites after his death. He even wrote the instructions down, but I was so angry at him that I tore them up in front of him. I can't even remember why. The only memories I have of him are how he made me feel. He spent almost 20 years trying to pass down our heritage, and all I have now is anger and hatred and regret. 30th of September, 2009. Site Director Knox gathered the staff this morning for a short mourning. After a few brief and laconic eulogies, he took me aside and told me that Venkat's replacement will come in a few weeks, and as he kept no contact with his family, it's likely his belongings will... Oh, Dan! Hang on, I'll mention that in a bit. It's likely that his belongings will just be disposed of and are now technically Foundation property. The director indicated that if I want to keep a thing or two from him, I should do so now. His office was relatively unremarkable. His cushy, squashed chair cushion, few office toys, and lots of marine biology books that I should probably check out someday. The only thing I took was a statue of Ganesh that stood next to the window. Not fully sure why myself, but he's now sitting on the bookshelf, next to a picture of myself, my wife, and our daughter at a lakeside terrace. It was a pretty unremarkable trip to some tourist trap in Lucknow, but this really is one of our best-looking pictures. We're going under again tomorrow. I don't know if you noticed, but the date on this next one is the same date as today. 11/11/2009, but no, it's 11/11/2020. Dan, this next entry is from exactly 11 years ago today.
Oh, right, yeah, no, it's not 2020, I thought it was live for a second.
No. All of the D-class managed to stay put this week, which is good. Other than the routine depression and memory loss from exposure to 3000, everything was in order. Sometimes I'm a bit envious of them. All they know is that they're scooping gunk off some big eel. They don't know of its importance, or why it's critical that they collect it, and how much it helps us. Of course, one saving grace of being on the psychological division for the ADZAC project is the awareness of its potential effects. I'm aware of what's happening to my psyche. I know that I have memories that are being drained, pieces that are being lost right now. I recall images of a young man on a bicycle in front of a schoolyard gate, looking like it was the 80s, when I was in Singapore. He was laughing, yet I don't know if this man was a friend, a lover, a son, a family friend, who this young man is. Perhaps Italian? Or maybe Australian. Maybe this isn't even a cherished memory at all. I looked at the Ganesh statue and the picture of my family again. It's really quite a shame. I truly forgot most anything that I've done with them. I've started trying to learn some Hindu poems and songs, went out and got a copy of the Vedas, but I can't memorize the lines properly. I've been reflecting on what Venkat told me before he passed, though. His deep, deep-seated fear of mediocrity. Unable to rise out of the sea of humans that walk on the face of this earth, he's worked for the Foundation for years, and while he isn't one of the most well-known and household names of the Foundation, he's not exactly obscure. He's been the Foundation's leading marine biologist and go-to expert for anything aquatic, and quite well-revered. I'm actually quite surprised by his jealousy. He was never the flashy and bombastic type, and I would have never guessed that he wanted fame and recognition. Perhaps he really was afraid that he is doomed to be stuck in mediocrity. Perhaps the silence of this place reminded him of something worse. Tan, this journal is very sad.
Oh. Yeah, I'm surprised you could read it when it was so soggy.
Whoa. Hey, there's a snake. I'm gonna go approach it, Tan. You read this next part. Yeah.
Wait, oh, yeah, you were looking for an eel, right?
Oh, sorry,
the
eel.
eel. Some more nitrogen. Some new... Attendant 3000.6, Memorandum and ADZAC Brief. Level 5, 3000 classified. Let me read you to sleep with this. Some new assignments and questions about our work here. So I'm publishing these to clear to clear most of them up. Feel free to contact my office if there are any others. The ADSAC protocol is a method for gathering and processing the Y909 compound. It's a thick, brackish grey fluid that SCP-3000 excretes as part of its metabolism. We don't know the exact method by which it does this, but we have some ideas, and none of them are great for us. Initially, we thought it was bleeding. The first team we sent down to look at the SCP went down to collect blood samples for analysis. When the SCP attacked and consumed them, and began producing more of the substance, we realised that we were looking at something different entirely. It's definitely not blood, it's more akin to a prion slurry. It's extremely toxic, and spending too much time around the stuff causes a lot of the same effects exposure to the SCP does. Paranoia, memory loss, which is the same thing really, suicidal thoughts, etc. Refining the raw Y909, what the processors call eel jelly, allows us to create amnestics more effective than any we've ever had access to in the history of this organisation. You can show that I'm forgetting how to read as we go. Herein lies the ethical dilemma. The SCP only creates Y909 after eating, and it only eats humans. Remember when I said we had some ideas about how it does this? Some of our biologists have hypothesized that SCP-3000 is breaking down whatever makes sapient creatures sapient, filtering it through some part of its skin, and the residual ether is just what we collect. You want to know something really fucked up? We've taken radiographs of this thing, trying to see what's going on inside of it. It's full of dead human bodies. It's not digesting them at all, it's doing something else, and the end result is Y909. When we first started using it in our Y909 in our amnestics programs, we tried to synthesize it. We got something close to what we were looking for, Y919, but the side effects were catastrophic. The amnestics would work, we'd get people to forget events, people, and so on, but then we'd start to forget other things too. The mental deterioration would rapidly increase until there was nothing left, and then they would die. A few of those researchers thought we might be able to figure out how to decrease the severity of those side effects, but the cost to continue those trials would have been astronomical, and the program was discontinued. It's no secret that what we're doing here is abhorrent. The Ethics Committee, the Classifications Committee, they're all looking at ways to make this more tolerable than what it is. But the hard truth is, if we want to continue to use modern amnestics, we have to have Y909. If we want to have Y909, we have to feed D-Class to SCP-3000. Otherwise, we'd be forced to go back to the metaphorical Dark Ages, where we were anesthetizing people with opiates and chloroform. The good news is, we're developing ROVs that should be able to take over the job of collecting the raw material from our dive teams. This will eliminate any chance of accidental casualties like we've had in the past, and is a good first step. For everything else, only time will tell. Nox.
Tan,
You asleep?
there's one last page in this journal I'd like to read to you.
Oh, see. It must have floated away because it was so soggy.
Yeah, I think so. Undated. I have spent a considerable amount of time on this assignment, attempting to understand the underlying effects of individuals exposed to a Class 8 cognito hazard. I've conducted numerous personnel interviews, written a great many psychological reports, but I've not been able to properly deduce what about this creature would lead a perfectly sane man out the door of that airlock and into the maw of the eel. Earlier this week, as I was preparing my notes for another report, I accidentally knocked the picture of myself, my wife, and my daughter off of my nightstand. The glass shattered as it hit the ground, and the picture fell out. As I cleaned it up, I noticed something written on the reverse of the image. It said, Anand, Shanti, and Padma, June 2002. But the writing was not mine, it was Venkat's. I was puzzled by this. Why would Venkat have written on the back of a picture of mine? I thought little of it at the time, and cleaned up the mess and went about my day. But this question stuck with me. It was a little thing, easily explained in any number of ways, but I could not seem to shake the notion of uncertainty. It was not until last night that a horrifying thought struck me, one that I could not sleep on. I accessed the Foundation personnel archives and realized a truth that I cannot reconcile. Shanti was Venkat's first wife. Padma was his daughter. The records are clear. The life I remember, the experiences I am certain I have had with them, are the experiences and memories of Venkat, not me. I have never been married, and I have no children. Even now I can see my wife in my mind, hear her laughter, smell her hair, but I know now that it is Venkat I see her through, not me. The horror of this realization has been replaced with a queer sort of dread. I've figured out what the eel does. Something about it, some latent part of its creation, abhors cognition. It breaks down human consciousness and scatters the part of us that we believe is a soul, until all that remains is what we really are. Electrical signals that will someday become inert. If even I can't remember myself, how can I expect anyone else to remember me? I have forgotten my own life, and I am strangely apathetic at this revelation. I will fade into the darkness, as thousands before me have, and thousands after me will. No one will care as I am forgotten. I do not despair for my own sake, but for us all, you and I, we will all face obliteration. I am not important. You are not important. Vast droplets of irrelevancy stretching eons in the sea of time. We may fight against it, but our enemy is inevitability. I do not think that the eel is Anantashisha. I don't think it would matter if it was. What is clear to me now, as I feel myself coming apart, is not that the eel is some mythological creature or divine serpent. Perhaps it's just a primitive creature that eluded us, holding no malice. Perhaps it really is a primordial deity harboring resent beneath the surface. The eel is not the harbinger of my demise or humanity's doom. The eel is not the end of all things. It only shows us what the end looks like. And in spite of everything we might believe, every ideal we hold or providence we pray for, I know this much is true for all of us. Our end will be a forgotten one. Note, Dr. Manava was later discovered unresponsive near the aft airlock. Evidence suggested that Dr. Manava had broken into the onboard storage locker and ingested a significant amount of raw Y909. Dr. Manava was moved off of the Aramita and remains at Site 151 for analysis. You see, Tan, this page gave me a lot of hope, because that means even after this eel consumes my flesh, you might still have my memories.
WTF, I'm depressed now.
Bye, Tan.
Oh,
I'm going to get munched now.
No, Darnell, don't get munched by the eel. That's bad. Oh, got him. Shit. Time to press the second button on my device to create a new Darnell homunculus.
Whoa, Tanhony!
You were asleep for a while there. You having a nap, huh?
Yeah. Why are we in a submarine? Weren't we in the West Coast?
Yeah, don't worry. We're taking a brief stopover. We're going to pour out of here once we've read the comments.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
why do I feel a strange sadness when I look at you?
We read?
What article?
We have to talk about the article. That was the podcast.
I know.
You're getting lost in the RP.
This was a really good article. I really liked it. It really built up a very somber atmosphere. It really drove home that whole sort of nihilist worldview of like nothing mattering. And although I don't personally agree with that philosophy, it really did a good job of displaying it and hammering it home. The sort of depression that the characters faced and their feelings were palpable and real, especially Manava's journal at the end there. And the build-up with Krishnamurthy was spectacular. Jorah, A Random Day, and DJ Cactus did an amazing job. And I know Tan makes fun of me for giving the over-the-top ratings, but I'm going to give this one a 12 out of 10. Because it was really fantastic.
If you threw out a 13, I would actually feed you to the eel again. the 13 would completely shatter it. There would be no point in rating anything ever again.
You need to stop caring that much about my ranking. But yeah, this was just a spectacular piece. And to be fair, it makes sense that the thousands are spectacular, because in order to become 1,000, they had to compete and be better than a bunch of others, which kind of, I think, by nature sharpens them to be better articles. But
it probably gets more difficult every contest.
This was a genuinely great read, and that was awesome. Good job, guys.
You hear me? I thought it probably gets more difficult every contest, huh?
Shut up. Stop trying to glorify 5,000.
I 2,000
right
people
now,
have for me.
Right now, this is probably my new favorite SCP, I'll be honest. I really
You like
this
Longboy?
one. Yeah, and it's really more the story that goes with it. It's not that I like the snake itself, but just this whole article. I mean, the piece.
Don't lie, you like the Longboy.
And I didn't switch. 1,000 or 2,000 weren't my favorites, but this one has become my favorite so far. I really like it. I upvoted it. Brilliant piece. What do you think?
I like it.
Wow.
It made me very fucking sad.
It made me sad too. It was very good. I was trying to build off that at the end with the RP, but then you created clone Darnell, and now I'm here. I'm sorry, I mean original Darnell. Wow, that was strange.
You know too much. Okay.
So we got some comments to read.
You know a bit too much for Darnell homunculus, so I'm going to reboot you.
Well, what Tanhony thinks is he's creating homunculuses, but if you zoom out the screen, this is all just a simulation that Darnell is playing on his Switch right now.
I see.
And Tanhony was never real to begin with.
We'll zoom back in onto the Switch.
All right, let me open the comments section. We had quite a lot last video. We did pretty well. The great audio really helped, and I hope we have great audio again. So let me open this up.
The viewers almost certainly just caught the first few beeps of the video as I opened it there.
Okay. So, oh, by the way, obviously no pressure to do this, because we already did the gag once, but someone did mention that they liked the codes, so I'll leave a code before the comments at the end of each episode if you want to put it in for fun. But the code this episode is
I've got a code. Let's make them say funny stuff.
Tanhony's code.
Let's make them say funny stuff. Tanhony is better than Darnell.
Oh, so we're telling them to put lies down now? What the hell is this?
I already said it. Sorry, that gap's been filled. Let's get into them.
Alright, so the first comment from Killer1Gamer1 is, I'm fake. Guess so is our friendship. So long, new friend.
Yeah, it's true.
Damn. Alright. Comedy Man Kelp said,
You think I'm going to back down?
Hmm?
You think I'm going to back down because you sound sad in the comments?
Tanhony has no chill. I love it. Comedy Man Kelp says, why is the storyline you guys do at the beginning and end of the episodes a genuinely really good and engaging story? Like, I actually look forward to finding out where it goes every week. I'm dead serious. Also, I am the real fan. Your comment is partially why I wanted to put in the extra RP effort, because I was really glad you liked it, Comedy Man Kelp. Usually we just make it up on the spot, though. I'll be honest.
Let's not lie. We also this time made it up on the spot.
Yeah, but this time we at least incorporated it with the article we were reading instead of random bullshit, which I give credit to Tan for thinking of doing. Next from Dino Tales, whose new thing seems to be changing how he spells our names every video. Hey, Tanhony and Darnell. 1. My SCP recommendations are SCP-2480, An Unfinished Ritual, SCP-2440, The Sirda King, and SCP-2036, Fire Rabbits. 2. My theme recommendation is Pattern Screamers. 3. I am the real fan. 4. Darnell, I hate to break it to you, but the joke SCP about Jeff won't work. Joke SCPs that reference other fictional characters or objects never do. Darn, I was so excited about doing that. Oh,
no,
man,
you kept showing me all those drafts.
Shut up. You're gonna make them think that's real. 5. If you're not gonna read the rest of 610, the least you could do is read the tale The Flesh That Mates. No,
I've never heard of that one, but I'm going to trust you. We'll read it next episode.
Porn.
Smile.
No, are you serious?
No, of course not.
6. Thanks, Darnell. It's people like you who keep me going. I'm gonna cry. I'm happy. 7.
7.
Tanhony, I just want to say that you're my favorite hentai character.
Cuts to me with my hair covering my eyes.
I was just gonna say that. Just like the character in the Marabella Chan meme. Adrian Rutherford says, I'm currently legally obligated to state that I'm the real fan. Alright, you ready for the raid boss?
We need, if anyone in our fan base has like musical talents, we would love a Hunter Spataphora.
Yeah, we would love a very short Hunter Spataphora theme.
Just stop playing Genova theme.
Alright. Hunter Spataphora, total comments 9 out of 10. Finally doing some Sarkic SCPs. Is this friend group of yours the commenters, members of the Discovering SCP Discord, or some other group? I do recall that there have been commenters looking forward to an episode on Sarkic SCPs after so many Church of the Broken God SCPs. I don't know if these friends want us to say their names. They probably don't care, but I'll be safe.
I'll say.
Okay.
It's Gribbum and Raffley.
Well, I was going to say, they are friends from the SCP
exist.
community that we also play like D&D with and stuff. Let's see. Way of All Flesh by Metaphysician. What does the color yellow feel like? I like this line of thinking. The reality that experience cannot be perfectly communicated or explained with words, and you can never describe a sensation to another person perfectly. Makes it even worse that some sensations are subjective.
Feels like lemons. I just did it.
You did it. So impatient you are. I have all the time in the world. All the time in the world only lasts until an anomaly destroys the world. What then? SCP-2075 finally dies for good? Goes into a slumber until it takes over an alien race like the Orthothans of the Church of the... What? What's that?
Well, that's later.
Is that a spoiler?
Maybe? I don't know. It's
What
very
if the Foundation
context-less.
rewinds time or hits a literal reset button? At no point does it say that SCP-2075 can spread only in humans. 2075 spreading through humans is bad enough, but what is its true scope? Primates, mammals, vertebrates, all animals, all multicellular organisms, all forms of life? Then again, why didn't the infected security guards infect everyone else in the facility, including Dr. Cronenberg? Could it be that Alexei Kravchuk was the current brain, and only the brain could infect others? Then again, we don't know if the brain can move to a new body at will, or only if the previous brain... body gets destroyed, or even if there's... This is really hard to read. Or even if there's such a thing as a brain in the first place. I have found plot holes, and they've muddied my favorite SCP in this video. I don't know if it's plot holes so much as it is, when you think really hard and logically about a lot of fantasy concepts, you start to realize they're demarcated by very fantastical, metaphorical lines, and not like hard science. I don't know if I'd call that a plot hole, though, so much as just like, the writing is simplified for the sake of the story rather than breaking into the most specific thing possible just to explain it. Because the goal of the SCP is to tell its story and to convey a certain feeling or mood or experience to the readers, not to scientifically break down exactly how the anomalous power works, if that makes sense. Then he has some more timestamps, and then a bunch of comments about the comment reading. So I'm supposed to be a raid boss. Is this role-playing? Should I start making a raid boss OC NPC then, D&D style? Please don't. Because
the hunter spat 4.
it feels wrong for me to say this because we roleplay in our videos, somewhat jokingly and also somewhat to build the story for fun. But we don't really want to interact with the fans in like a roleplay way too much because it gets to a weird territory.
Long Lin, please edit the video to cut him off after he says interact with the fans.
Don't do that! Stop!
It's time, Long Lin, anomalous editor. You have to now decide which of us you are loyal to.
It's fucking Civil War. Speaking of being
Long Lin, edit it out. You're like, anomalous writer, put it back in.
I like the idea that instead of just editing or not editing, he keeps going back and forth every time we say Speaking of being the mainstay of the series, I still haven't come up with a proper name for my spreadsheet project, or whatever we're going to call it. I also need to find better ways to improve it. It's been a great way to improve my Google Sheet skills, but it feels like there are some things I can't do with the given features that would make organizing and automating it much easier. I'll just have to search and work harder to see if certain things just aren't possible.
Good luck.
We got one real fan. All the rest of you, fake. Does that include Boris WW among the fake DSCP fans? Yeah, Tan, yes. Does it?
Yes,
how dare you?
There's only one real fan at a time, and you can't just stick around and keep that position. You have to fight for it.
How dare you disgrace Boris's name in front of me?
You all have to fight each other for my recognition.
Can you feel it, Tan? Now that you've disgraced Boris, my killing intent. I'm charging my Aether attack now.
What will you do?
You can say whatever you want about me, but those who disparage Boris-san will suffer greatly. If you want to prove that you're not fake, please say in the comments, I'm the real fan? If you don't say it, that is confirmation that you're fake. I'm enjoying these hidden... Alright, so it was Hunter that said this. I'm enjoying these hidden codes in the DSCP podcast and the questions...
Do you spoil this?
I read some of these beforehand because I
Can
like
you
to
feel
interact
it?
with fans.
My killer intent.
Podcasts and the questions at the end of the Aetherial Space readings. Keep them up. I'll keep the nerf for now and see how it turns out. It's supposed to force me to have only comments that are factual and objective instead of personal and potentially passive-aggressive, which I want to avoid and aren't as important. Whatever you say, man. It's up to you. Lon Lang Lin says, I am not a real fan. I was a refrigerator all along. He got us.
If you were not editing, I would take your head for this. Yeah? Any more comments?
Sorry about that. Andrew Marshall says, I'm the real fan. Thank you, Andrew Marshall. You've been acknowledged. SCP Escape says, nice video. Thanks, bro. This one's my favorite. Cabrales Lenoir says, this isn't related. I'm just really narcoleptic right now.
Oh no, you okay?
And then he later replied, "Fuck, forgot about the real fan. Guess I will stop watching Discovering SCP."
Sorry, we lost another one.
Honestic says, "Sarcasm is go!" Smiley face. "The sound is so much better now. You guys, whatever you changed, keep doing it. Look up chlorine trifluoride if you want to know exactly how badly the Foundation wanted to get rid of what that first one made. I want to know why they even had enough of that stuff on hand to flood the facility." And then there's some replies that basically sum up to very reactive chemical.
Wow.
Quaker Buttonnose, who still has my favorite username, says, "I am the real fan? What you were saying about Series 1 reminded me. SCP-166 got rewritten. I was already a fan of it, but I like it even more now. Have you read that one on the podcast? I can't remember. I don't fucking know.
We haven't yet, no. Mostly
Okay.
I didn't like the old version. So maybe we'll read it now.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to Tan. Chaos Corvin's...
If we both read it now, I also will not have any ideas. We'll both be discovering SCP.
Discovering 166. You should probably do a very quick skim to see how long it is so we know if we should have other SCPs that video or not.
We might do a special episode where we do a compare before and after.
Yeah.
That could be
Chaos Corvid says, "Mr. Fish has breached containment." I think that's like an in-joke about something they were doing on the Discord. I don't know the context of that. I appreciate. Boris WW says, "I'm not a big Sarkic fan, but some of these were really cool. Metaphysician now moves up to join 5th place in terms of most popular authors on the podcast. And isn't it a funny coincidence? The last episode of Exploring SCP was also basically Sarkic's Part 2. Tan, are we just copying Exploring SCP?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Oh. He even talked he even talked about one of the skips you read. Shalakda and Boyers are basically the nobility. I kind of hope you move up to Series 4...
I want to clarify, I have watched Exploring SP, I did not watch that episode.
Boris says, "I kind of hope you move up to Series 4 soon." Hey, good news, buddy. Good news. I think LLL did a great job with editing. The quality really went up. I'll have to admit, I didn't really listen through the last episode. I don't blame you, because Tan, even though I asked him if he turned his mic up, that bastard found a way to ruin it. I can't believe it. And then there are a bunch of replies I'm not going to read, because it's too much of a hassle. An anomalous writer says, "I'm the real fan. Also, great job to Lon Lang Lin for doing this one." Smiley face. Agreed.
Nice.
Chrysanthus says, "I will edit this comment later, but I already love that Tanhony has raised the sound." Tanhony didn't do shit. I'm kidding.
I raised the sound, I did.
I know, I'm being mean to you now for no reason. Tanhony's a good boy. He's been working hard and I'm proud of him. Edit. While I also like more the Church of the Broken God, I think Sarcasm is a perfect enemy for pretty much everyone in the SCP universe, especially Neo-Sarcasm. I don't know what that is. Gotta have body horror, and why not put in an extra on cosmic horror while you're at it? By the way, I'm happy I found you guys from the SCP Wiki, a rabbit hole of searching tags. You were cool and deserve more views. I like this guy. This guy's cool. Oh, hang on, heartburn. Oh, I'm dying. Okay. My favorite episodes are when you have SCP writers as guests. Hopefully we'll do another one of those soon. Tan wants to do a couple normal episodes for a bit, because we were kind of on a special episode rampage. So I'm not sure when the next guest episode is, but it won't probably be too long. Might even be next episode, I don't know. And then we have one final comment from Killer One Gamer One, which is, "Something that isn't just the thumbnail? We're now more advanced than ever."
Yeah, I did that. No, it wasn't me. It was Lon Lang Lin.
Yeah. Once again, thank you to Lon Lang Lin and Anomalous for probably editing this video as well. We hope you guys enjoyed. I know we spent like the first 12 minutes just spouting bullshit.
God, I hope they edit it, otherwise this isn't going to be appearing. No one's ever going to watch this otherwise.
But I think we did a great job with the readings, and the SCP was a really fun read. I enjoyed it once we got into the meat of it. Definitely good. So, all of you, is there anything you wanted to plug, Tan? I have something.
Read Aetheral Space.
Aetheral Space, yes. Please read Aetheral Space. It's actually good, and if you like it, please go on Royal Road and leave it.
Arc.
What?
We're almost at the third arc. Things are going to get crazy.
Yep. And if you enjoy it, please write a review on Royal Road. Don't just write a fake one if you haven't read it. Like a better, honest review is good, but it would really help Tanhony out, and you have no idea how much he appreciates every single review he gets. Like, it's childlike wonder. So if you want to make
troll the fucking Aetheral Space Discord channel, hoping for messages.
If you want to make Tanhony's eyes light up like a young child on Christmas Day or holiday of whatever day, then definitely leave him a review and read his work, because it's good anyway. It's good, but you should read it. Okay, and then I would like to plug Good Morning Poon Poon, which is out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and it should hopefully be out on Google soon. If you've read Oyasumi Poon Poon, or if you have interest in it but don't plan on reading it at all ever, then you should go watch it.
That's a very strange category to be in.
Well, I'm just saying if you plan to read it, don't, because we talk about things that happen, so you don't want to get spoiled. But it would really seriously mean a lot to me if you guys checked it out. It's me being like serious and smart and like analyzing something I'm really passionate about.
You do a different voice? Do you do a different voice in it for your smart?
I talk not over... Well, you would know if you listened to it, like I asked you, crying emoji.
But maybe I want to read Oyasumi Poon Poon someday.
Then you told me you had no interest in it. Whatever. Anyway, go check out Good Morning Poon Poon. Very proud of it. And my co-hosts are also excellent. Trust me. Just like my co-host on this podcast is excellent, right, Dan?
Yeah. Don't forget where you came from.
I'm never gonna leave you, Tan. I'm attached to you at the hip. You're my BFF. You're my not.
I know you're contracted.
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it.